Welcome back, ECHL fans, to another episode of the ECHL Insider. I am your host, as always, Garrett Hunter, and what a crazy week around the ECHL it was. So let's dive right in with the recap of last week's games, and then we will get to our top 5 games of the week as the playoff race is quickly heating up around the ECHL. Well, it was the Maine Mariners with a very impressive 3-game sweep of the Bloomington Bison this week, going up to Illinois, getting all 3 games, and this Maine team looks very dangerous right now after what they did in Estero, winning 2 out of 3 against the Everblades, and then going to Bloomington and winning all 3 against the Bison. Very impressive from this Mariners team. Also, the red-hot Kansas City Mavericks, a 1-0 overtime win over the Wichita Thunder last week. This is, almost unheard of at this point. The Mavericks have won 25 of their last 26 games. Pretty much unbeatable right now is the Kansas City Mavericks, but they will be on our top 5 games of the week, and we will talk about them in just a moment. Also around the ECHL, the South Carolina Stingrays picked up a 3-2 OT win against the Atlanta Gladiators. What a really good game that was, and really fun to see that Stingrays and Gladiators matchup, which could be a playoff series in a few weeks from now. And finally, the Toledo Walleye and Trois-Rivières Lions Kelly Cup final rematch happened up in Quebec this past week, and the Lions took 2 out of 3 against the Walleye with a 4-3 shootout win on Sunday afternoon in Trois-Rivières. Can't imagine, a whole series like that coming down to a shootout for the bragging rights, and critical points. And Trois-Rivières gets it done 2 out of 3. But I'm sure Toledo definitely enjoyed Saturday, getting that 4-1 victory, and, at least showing themselves, yes, we can beat Trois-Rivières in this building, which they struggled to do in the Kelly Cup finals last year. Well, with that, let's get to a loaded top 5 games of the week. Hard to believe it's already late February and the playoff races are heating up in all 4 divisions. So let's start with the South Division. At number 5, the South Carolina Stingrays and the Savannah Ghost Pirates on Friday and Sunday. Friday will be in Savannah. Sunday will be in North Charleston, South Carolina. And for both of these teams, looking good, right, in the playoff race. Savannah put a lot of room between them and Greenville and Orlando last week with some crucial victories. And, they're going to look to take that momentum into this week. But this is a very good, very talented South Carolina team. If you're Savannah, you want to keep winning, keep getting a little bit of cushion over 5th and 6th place right now. But, this South Carolina team, very good. They're looking to see how high they can kind of finish in the standings. Very unlikely that South Carolina misses the playoffs this year at this point, but they want to finish high in the standings. They want to be going into the playoffs on a good note for these last month and a half of games. So should be a very good 2-game stretch then down the road for Savannah and South Carolina. At number 4, the Allen Americans have a big test ahead of them as they go on the road to face the Kansas City Mavericks Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday night, all up in Independence, Missouri. In this game, you got to talk about the playmakers. And for Kansas City, it's the whole roster. You could say Jackson Judding, Marcus Crawford. They got talent up and down that roster. In goal with Jack LaFontaine, Logan Turnus, Dylan Wells. In the back end, we talked about Crawford, Judding. In the forward position has just been electric. This Kansas City team right now, they feel like they're unbeatable, right? They've won 25 of their last 26 games. The number 1 team right now on the penalty kill at just a mind-boggling 89.9%. That is insane. For context, a good penalty kill is between 80 and 82%. They are cranking at 89.9%. That is just insane, especially in the ECHL. But this Kansas City team puts on a clinic on the penalty kill. But this Allen team, we can't forget about them. They got guys like Braden Watts, who's put up 48 points this year. definite playmaker that Kansas City will have to look out for and try to shut down if they're going to sweep this series and continue this long winning streak. But, Allen's going to be motivated, I think, ready, and I think they are going to embrace this task of a 3-game series against Kansas City. At number 3, the Reading Royals and Adirondack Thunder on Wednesday night. A good division clash between number 4 Reading, number 2 Adirondack in the North Division, and really excited for this one. Got to highlight 2 players for Reading. Keith Petruzzelli right in goal. Right now a .923 save percentage. Very impressive from Petruzzelli. And then for Adirondack, Brandon McManus, 49 points, and get this, a plus 28. Just a dynamic forward right now for the Thunder. Definitely a challenge for Reading to stop McManus and for the goaltender Keith Petruzzelli to try to shut down a playmaker like that. Should be a very good game on Wednesday night to see between the Royals and the Thunder. Well, we'll keep it in Adirondack for our number 2 game of the week. The Maine Mariners and Adirondack Thunder on Friday night. 2 teams that look really impressive right now. We just talked about Adirondack, and their goal scoring ability has been very good. But for Maine right now, they're feeling really good about themselves. They've won 2 out of 3 against the Everblades. Then last week they go up to Bloomington and sweep a 3-game series with them, and now they come still on the road to Adirondack to face a very good, very talented Thunder team, much improved from last year's Adirondack team that we saw. But, when you talk about Maine, got to talk about Brooklyn Kalmakov, right? Very talented goal scorer. He's been doing it all year for them. And in goal, right? Brad Arvanitis has been just amazing for them right now. Several key victories for Arvanitis and the Mariners, and he has looked very good for them. So definitely a big challenge going up against this Adirondack team, but I think Maine will be ready on Friday night. And our top game of the week, the Fort Wayne Komets and Wheeling Nailers, once bitter rivals when they were both together in the Central Division, but they will see each other again on Wednesday, Saturday, and Sunday. Worth noting that Wednesday and Sunday is in Wheeling, Saturday is in Fort Wayne. So a heavy travel week for these 2 teams as they will be playing a lot of games this weekend, also having some other matchups sprinkled in between those days. So should be very good. Chopped up a little bit. They each play a team between those 2 days. And so should be a very good 3 games this week between Fort Wayne and Wheeling. You look at this Wheeling team, you look at Fort Wayne, the things that stand out to me is the defensemen, right? You got Jalen Smerek for the Wheeling for the Fort Wayne Komets, who has been dynamite from the blue line. 39 points and a plus 17 plus minus for him. He's been electric for them. But then on the other side, Brent Johnson, 37 points, plus 8 rating right now for him. Johnson's looked very good and been a very, very key piece of this defensive structure for the Wheeling Nailers. So should be good to see these guys rip them from the blue line, and definitely 2 responsible defensemen in this league in Brent Johnson and Jalen Smerek. So really looking forward to this Komets-Nailers rivalry reuniting this weekend. Should be a very good 3-game series. Well, that'll do it for our top 5 games of the week. But of course, we got to end it with the grand finale, our fight of the week. We will take you to the Tulsa-Greenville series, where in game 1, big hit was thrown in the corner, and the captain of the Swamp Rabbits sticking up for his teammate, dropping the gloves, and a very good scrap there between the Oilers and the Swamp Rabbits. So hope you enjoy that. Make sure to go down, subscribe to the channel, leave your comments. We'd love to hear your feedback, and we will see you next week for more ECHL action.
Shots, they only have 20 shots registered to the 23 of the Oilers. And if you're Tulsa and you're starting to sniff, hey, we can probably win one on the road.
Hard hit to the corner, and Atkinson comes to the defense of his teammate. It's Lucas Urasek. Atkinson's second fight in as many games. He's pinned into the boards, trying to get that hand free, and he popped one. one. Atkinson tries to come back with another. Atkinson starts to land some rights. He pins up Jurasek into the boards, comes with more overhand. And finally, the linesmen separate them. That is Patrick Polino, who goes to the back of house.